This video is being presented to you by EA Creator Network, and this is not the final build of the game and is still a work in progress. In this video, we're going to talk about how to pass the ball in Madden 24. So let's talk about freeform passing, and first and foremost, if you don't know what it is, we need to go into our settings and make sure that your settings are going to match mine. I believe these are the best beginner settings, and it is drastically different from Madden 23, so even if you had, you're a max distance guy, whatever it was, you had your specific settings, I think this is the best way to start and then move from there. You want to immediately go to placement and accuracy for your passing type. This is going to give you the most control you can really get. Passing slowdown is going to be off. It's not even enabled in online play, and if you're playing offline, you can use it to kind of get an idea of how the freeform passing works a little bit more, but typically, I'm just going to have this off always. Freeform reticle pass distance, I'm going to have it at near, okay? There's going to be far as well, and then no max distance. I'll explain what these kind of are here in a moment. Essentially, it's how much kind of freestyle you can do with your passes, how far you can lead your wide receivers. Ideally, it's near because it's going to limit the amount of overthrows you can have. It'll keep the ball near the wide receiver's range. If you go far, you're going to be able to push the wide receiver's range pretty far, which means you'll miss him sometimes. And then no max distance, you can do like insane throws that like are just bonkers, okay? So we're going to start at near. Freeform reticle speed, I'm going to go 7 out of 20. This is the default, and I've had a lot of success so far just messing around with this. Now, as you get better, you're going to tap this up. Last year I started at 7, then I went to 10, then I went to 20 out of 20, so just keep that in mind. Reticle visibility, I go visible, and then meter visibility, I go user only. I don't even know what these really are, but that's kind of my passing mechanic setups immediately, all right? So, if you don't know what freeform passing is, I'm immediately going to show you just a normal pass. Now, the way you pass lead in the game is with the left stick, okay? So let's say I'm gonna pass lead this corner route. Let's go upfield, all right? Let's try to throw it a little bit up. So I'm just gonna push the left stick up while I'm passing, and we're gonna pass lead that up a little bit. And you see right there, you kind of caught it, not really even in stride, actually, but this time, I'm gonna freeform it up. So I'm actually gonna hold LT, and then I'm going to push the left stick up. I kind of do both at the same time as I'm hitting the receiver icon to pass, okay? So we drop back. We're going to go. Now I'm going to push up on the left stick. Boom. And you see how that ball got led upfield a little bit more. I pushed up on the left stick and held the LT left trigger down. Left trigger is how you activate freeforming, essentially. It's how you tell the game that you want to freeform. Now, if you look when you pass the ball, you're going to see a little gray area underneath the receiver, all right? This is your normal passing window. So you see a little gray area just underneath where that orange reticle was. I'll pass one more time so you can see that gray area. That's where you can normally place the ball without freeforming, okay? Look, we're going to look for the orange reticle. Right behind that's the gray area. If you don't freeform, you can only pass the ball within that little gray area. Now, if I freeform, I'm going to be able to push the ball outside of it a little bit. I'm on near, so you see now I'm able to freeform just outside of it, right? That little gray area, we're able to push it a little bit further, and that's where you see the orange reticle, right? We're going to go back to it, and you're going to see, boom, just barely outside of it. This time, able to grab it still. Now, if we were to go to something like, let's just go really drastic here. I'm going to change my stuff to max distance, and I'll even, throw the reticle speed up a little bit, just so you guys can see. So we'll go reticle, let's go 11, let's go no max distance. I haven't even tried this year. Let's give it a quick try, though. We're going to drop back, boom, and boom. Now you see we're way upfield. That time was actually way ideal, but you could miss this throw, too, if you try doing this, right? You could get some where you push it too far. Let's see if we can get an example of us, kind of really missing this throw. Let's drop back. Let's try pushing it to the sideline. Boom. And right there, example, we get perfect accuracy because the ball went right where we put it, but it was out of reach for our wide receiver. Now, if you don't want to mess with this freeforming stuff at all, you could go back to Classic, although I do strongly believe that freeforming is kind of what you want to do. I think it gives you the most control, makes the game more fun, and really just does pretty much everything you want. Like, I love it a lot, but you'll have some growing pains and some frustrations with it. Now, ideally, you want to always pass lead the ball away from the defense, and you want to catch the ball in stride, typically. So this, streak, I'm going to pass lead it up the field, and I even freeformed it just a tad, and you see how I caught that perfectly in stride to stay ahead of the defense if there was one. Watch what happens here if I'm going to pass lead it down. Remember, I'm pass leading using the left stick, and if I want to freeform, I'll just hold LT. See, that time he had to come back to the ball and catch it. When this happens, the defense can recover on you. You can do a bunch of things. This time, I'll freeform it. Let's say, sort of safety to the right. I'll freeform all the way to the left. Did I push it too far? No, that was perfect. Right? So you want to get away from the defense, always. And that sounds obvious, but It's not always obvious. Next thing I want to touch on is different passes that you can really do. Now you can lob pass, you can kind of touch pass, or you can bullet pass. Majority of your passes are going to be bullet passes in Madden, all right? Just fact of the matter. But if you want to lob this right here is this is a lob, right? It should be. Yep, lob pass. And that's just by tapping an icon. And then a touch pass is really going to be just kind of in between a bullet and a lob. So right there, that should be a touch pass, I believe. We got good timing. No, that was a bullet pass. Touch passes I really don't ever use. I'm not really a huge fan of them. Bullet pass, you're just going to hold down the icon. Let's see if we get a touch pass right here. We get it? Boom. Touch pass. Got another bullet pass. They're kind of hard to do, honestly. And I never really do them. Every once in a while, I'll lob something. But for the most part, you want to bullet pass things, okay? You just want to. Now, there is a huge change in this game of last year in Madden 23. High passes were really popular. They were definitely the meta, and it's what everyone did, right? And the way you highball something is what people call it, highball, high pass, is you hold the left bumper, right? So you can kind of combine some of these. This is a highball bullet pass lead up, right? And actually, we didn't even get a bullet, or we didn't even get a highball on that, probably because I was so far downfield. Let's see if we can just highball a curl route. Let's just throw a curl right here. I'm going to hold LB, boom, and that's a highball. You see how the receiver had to jump up, high throw? The receiver had to go jump up. This year, there's a bit of a penalty for doing that, and it's just not as good as it was last year, so I would kind of try to avoid them. It is good for getting above wide receivers, or rather above defenders, and be able to find gaps in the defense, but there's, there's some risk to it, right? And it's not, you wouldn't really want to highball this corner too often in this situation. Maybe sometimes you would if you're trying to get over top of a DB underneath, but typically not really. It can kind of depend a little bit, but this year, high balls are just something you don't want to do as much. Right there is an example of him actually dropping a high throw. It's a penalty for it. It's one of the ways EA has decided to kind of, make them less usable. So keep that in mind. That is with the left bumper, though. And again, right there is a great example of me free-forming this ball backwards. Not something you'd want to do right there necessarily, but something you can do. And I really recommend just getting used to different routes. At first, you're going to have growing pains when you first start free-forming and whatnot. And, I'll give you guys some reps here in a moment against an actual defense. But there's going to be some growing pains when you first start passing the ball in Madden in general. All right, so I've had the game give me random offenses, and we're going up against random defenses immediately. Okay, I'm audibling out of this play. I'm audibling. And we're just going to see, and I'll try to explain some of the pass leads that I do. Right here, we're going to throw RB and try to pass lead it to the left. I actually got under pressure inaccurate right there, which is a thing where if you have pressure in your face, you will get under pressures in this game. It's just part of it. Right? Let's go Y. I'm going to pass lead it a little bit up right there. Nothing too crazy. I'm not even free-forming that. Not everything needs to get free-form. Free-form is more of when you're trying to really, wow, why am I getting this one again? It's really when you're trying to do, trying to get the defense off target for whatever reason. Right here's a pass lead outside, and it got completed, even though I think it might have gotten knocked out. But, we just try to get it away from the defense is essentially the goal here, right? Over the middle, we're going to pass lead that, try to catch it in stride, so I threw it to the left a little bit. And let's see if we can get an example of a free form here. But again, free form's a little bit more, they kind of depend. Let's go here. We're going to free form B down. And that was a little bit of a free form. I'll just try to keep it away from the defender, because if I pass it towards the defender, could have gotten picked off. What we got here? Anything, we're going to go RB, nothing really there. We're going to scramble, make a play. Oh my gosh, please. No, okay. Happens sometimes. See if we can get a good rep right here of a decent free form. We're going to highball B, actually. And that's a good example of when to highball it. You might not necessarily want it on a post like that deep, but a time when I would use a highball is when I'm trying to get it over top a linebacker like this right here, right? A bullet pass, this guy could maybe jump up and snag it if he's tall, athletic, DB. He could jump up and snag it. So a high ball is going to get it over him, and I'm going to pass lead it down to try to stay away from the safeties, right? Try to get in this pocket. A lot of people try to touch pass this ball. A bullet pass high ball is way better, even with the nerf still, I think. As of right now, if my opinion changes, I'll let you guys know. We'll go right here, B, pass lead it down. Great example right there. I'll be able to fit it into a pretty tight window. I didn't love that window. Those are a few examples, guys. If you have questions, let me know in the comment section below. I'll see y'all in the next video.